Phil Heeley is somebody that I've known now for quite a few years, since he worked in Somerset even. That was a long, long time ago. But we're very, very proud to have him with us today, because if there's anything you need to know about creating music, using music technology, he is the expert to talk to in the UK. His career includes advising and teaching in higher education, as colleges and universities, creating the legendary Music Maker software, as well as working for and supporting other music services and music hubs through his organisation called the Inclusive Music Academy. He's passionately campaigning to make music creation an activity that anyone can take part in. That includes you. Today, this will be the key message behind what he'll be demonstrating today. I'll be chatting with Phil at the end of the workshop, so you must have questions to send in. Please do send them via the Twitter address, which is at Devon Music Ed Hub, as one word. You can send them in any time and they'll get forwarded to me and Phil, and we'll be able to answer them. So let's see, is Phil with us? Hi, Phil.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you come nearer to your mic at all?
Not really, but I could do another mic if that's not working so good.
That'd be brilliant. Thanks, Phil.
Just see what's available. Let's try this one here. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Is that getting any louder, Ben?
That's getting a bit louder. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that okay?
That's brilliant.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. So no more to do. I'll hand you over to Phil. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session on BandLab. BandLab is an incredible piece of software online for free, BandLab for education. And what we're going to be doing today is going through it and showing you how easy it is to create your own music in 100 different styles. So there should be something for everyone. So I'm fascinated by music technology. I always have been, because it's allowed me to make the music and to get the music outside of me. I'm not a trained musician. I can't read music, but I've had a wonderful career in music education because of technology. So I'm absolutely passionate about this, as you'll hopefully see in a moment. So I'm going to share my screen and get up BandLab. So if you can tell me if you can see my screen, that would be good. Ben, can you see that? Ben's gone. Okay, I'm just going to play a little piece I've just started working on, and let's go. Let's get straight into showing you how you use BandLab for education. You sign up for edu.bandlab.com up here, and hopefully your teacher or your parents can do this for you. This is the area where you can get straight into the music. Here's some songs I've created, quite a few, because I not only teach music tech, but I love using it. And what we're going to do is go to the mix editor. It's where you start your new song. So I'm going to click on here. And we've got some choices: instruments, drum machine, vocals, record your guitar or your bass. But today, the easiest way is to go to Browse Loops. So there we go. And on the side here, there are literally over 100 different styles of music: saxophone, drill, Zulu porridge, ultra bounce, funk drums, cove, drum and bass. and I can drag them down, and you can just see they keep coming up. Country music, Afrobeat, trap, soul, rave, roots and dub, and it just keeps on going. There really is literally something for everyone here. Hip hop, grunge, funk, techno. So for today, I'm going to choose Cove, this melodic drum and bass from an acclaimed UK producer. And the idea is to show you that you can make music. Whether you've tried this before, whether you don't think you've got any musical skills, whether you don't play an instrument, it doesn't matter. With music technology, we can make music. So I can listen to the demos, and it's important if you're going to do this, you listen to all of them and see what you like. That's ultra bounce. Let's have some funk drums. And the idea is you hear a demo track you like, a style of music, and you think, okay, I'm going to start using those samples within that loop pack to make some music. So this is the one I've chosen for today, Cove. And that should wake you up. So what I'm going to do now is click on this area of the picture, one click, and up comes a selection of all the sounds within this pack, like individual loops or sounds that if I click on, I can hear. So let's randomly click on a full dry kit. Okay, and what we're looking for, I think, to start this off, to make it really easy, is something like a beat, a bass, a tune, a melody, or some chords, some effects, and something of whatever we fancy, maybe a vocal or something. And I'm going to make this really easy by just dragging and drop into this area here. So I quite like that beat, actually. Where was it again there? There we go. And what you do is you hold down the mouse and it makes a little fist and you drag it into this area here. Drag and drop. And then I'm going to drag it with a little hand, hold down the mouse and put it to bar 1. There's the bar numbers up here. And this is 8 bars long, bars 1 to 9. I'm also going to just change the settings here in view. It's got a nice little grid setting, which like a magnet allows you to go very easily and put things in time with each other. So I'm just going to change that to half a bar for now. And that means when I move this, it'll just go every half bar. It'll click like a magnet. So there's my drum beat. Let's have a listen. Rewind. Okay. So next up, I'm looking for a bass. I can scroll through these sounds on the right here, but I can also go up to here and search for bass. So I'm going to type in bass, and I've got a few here. Slider bass. Let's have a listen to that. Not so keen on that. No, not too impressed with that. So let's take the bass off and I'll see if I can find something else. Cove, lots to choose from. Let's have sub bass. I don't think that'll be heard. If you're only using your computer speakers, you might not hear sub bass. Let's see if we can find a wobble. LFO wobble. Quite nice. Yeah, I think we'll go for that. I'm going to drag it in. And it's important to see if they go together. So let's rewind. Make sure that's a bar 1. Yes, I like that. I'm going to turn up the bass a bit here, the volume, so it pumps out. Okay, so far so good. Let's now take that off. And I'm looking for a melody, a tune, something that will give us something to sing to or whistle to. A synth perhaps. There's probably not guitars on here or traditional instruments because this is more modern. So I'm looking down. Oops. Sine. What does this sound like? Very deep and bassy. Piano. Pad. Bit boring. Let's see, another way to search for it might be a riff. A riff is another word for a sort of a small melody or a small piece of instrumental music. Liking that? Yep, that's going to work, I think. Drag it over. Now we've got 3 tracks, so we can have up to 16 tracks in BandLab. This is quite long. I might shorten that, and I can do that by just getting one of these handles and taking it down. So they're all the same length. Let's have a listen. Okay, that sounds good to me. One of the things I can do is cycle it right round and round. So I'm going to go up here on the left-hand side to cycle and put that on. It defaults to just 4 bars. Let's make it a bit longer just by dragging it. And by the way, if I'm going too fast, I apologize. I know I've only got half an hour. But if you get in touch with me via the mix, via Ben or Debbie, I can give you a link to how to do this on one of my BandLab For Schools courses. Right, that should loop round and round. Okay, those 3 go well together. Let's go back to the whole list again. I'm looking for something to introduce the next section. A riser is where it goes up and up and up and up. Let's see if I can find a riser. I'll just type in riser. Yeah, we've got a few of those. So have a listen to this one. You can hear it building up like a crescendo. That might work. Yeah, quite like that. Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to put it in. It doesn't want to be at the beginning this time. It actually wants to be at the end because it's going to introduce the next section. So let's call this the introduction, for example. And the next section could be the chorus. Let's play it and have a listen. Okay, I think that would work. Let's find out what else we could have. This is what I call, I'm looking for a little bit of icing on the cake, really. Yeah, little sounds like that. That's a holy roll. Again, I'm just going to throw it in because we're going to reorder it in a minute, but let's have a listen. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be towards the end again. Lovely. Okay. I'm also going to look for some percussion or something a little bit less loud or full on. At the moment, if I solo this beat, that's quite fast and quite hectic. I love it, but maybe at the beginning I want something a little softer. So what could I look for? Some percussion. I could always type up perk, see if anything comes up. Not really. Okay, let's have a look down. Juno riff. I don't want to spend too much time looking for stuff. When you have a go yourself, you can obviously spend hours, and in my spare time I do. The one I had earlier that I liked was Akai, the D&B Akai break, 1 or 2. Let's have a listen. That's quite nice. Okay, I want the quieter one. So break 1. I'm going to just drop that in on the next track down. And maybe extend it. I'm copying it effectively. Oops. Right, there it goes. And rewind. Okay, good so far. Now, let's say I've found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sounds that I think work well together. That's great. But I don't want them to come just straight in like that. I'm going to have an introduction. An introduction generally starts gently and quietly and builds up, rather like an introduction to a story. So what would I like in first? Well, I like the synth, I think. So if I solo this. Solo it, I can hear it on its own. That's the S there. Now, if I want that to start on its own, it means I have to drag these sounds over to the right. So I'm lassoing them so I can move them together. And I'm going to move them over to the right. So that's now on its own. What comes in next? I'd like maybe the quieter drum to come in next. So I'm going to push that there, and it's going to come in at bar 5, which is 4 bars after the start. Let's have a listen, see if it works. Okay, I like the way the drums come in there. What I might do is now bring in this riser just before the drums come in, and it's sort of suggesting this crescendo that something is going to happen at bar 9. So let's take these drums just to bar 9, and this I'm going to call this the new section. And I think I'll have a bit of that as well. That was the, let's have a listen to this sound to remind you what that was. Yeah, that sounds good. We've got to make that a little bit louder. Here's the volume. Here we go. Let's have a listen again. Okay, let's rewind that and see what happens. Let's take the solo off so I can hear everything. Okay, I'm liking that. Of course, music is a matter of personal taste. So I'm hoping that if you're listening and thinking, actually, no, it's too long, he's left the bass and the drums on too long, that's fine. That's absolutely brilliant, because when you get to your music, you can create it just the way you like it. And that's really important. Okay, what I'm going to do now is show you a little bit more about the program. Now, we've got literally thousands of samples in BandLab. And if I go to all loops, you can see them come up here. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But for today, as I say, I want to stick with Cove and the drum and bass to make it sound like the same sort of style. There's nothing wrong with mixing up different styles. That's called fusion music, and I love doing that. But for today, I'm going to keep it like this. So what I'm going to do now is have a few more of these. I like that. And I'm going to copy this. Two ways to do it. I can press Control and C on the keyboard, or I can right click and a menu comes up and I can copy it. Where do I want to put it? Well, I want to put it, let's say, at bar 16, just before the end of that section. And I'm going to paste it in, right click. There it is, paste. And that sound is a copy of that one. So you're now going to hear this. Let's go from there. Lovely. And I might copy this one as well. This is the riser. So once again, copy. And let's put it at bar 14. Right click, paste. A bit too long there, so let's just push it back. And this time I'm going to shorten it because that's quite a long rise. And maybe I want to shorten it by just going to this little handle here and just pull it back. So maybe I'm going to just start at 2 bars at bar 15. Let's find out how that sounds. Excellent, I'm happy with that. Very important thing is every 5 minutes or so, go up to the right-hand side and save your work. One click, and see down the bottom here, it says project saved, because the worst thing that can happen is that you lose your work. The fact that BandLab is online means it's highly unlikely that you will lose your work. Even if your computer crashes, it stores it online, which is incredible. Right, what else can we do in BandLab? Well, we can drop a loop or an audio or MIDI file. Now, you may not know what exactly that is, but these are loops we're working with at the moment. There's an audio file, and the MIDI file is another format, which we can, if we find some, drop them into this program and use them to create more music. So if I click here, it goes to my computer, and I prepared a sample that I like, which isn't in BandLab, and it's called What's Mine. So if I click on that and press open, in it comes. So the first thing I'm going to do is solo it so you can hear it on its own. And I'll play it from the beginning.
I'm taking back what's mine, 'cause I want more.
Okay, now where would that go? I wonder if it would go in this new section here. And I'm working it in bars of 8. 1 to 9 is 8 bars. I'm calling that the introduction. I'm calling this section between 9 and 17 maybe the verse, and maybe I'll call this the chorus. And what I'm going to do is select all of this section and just copy it here. So my samples and my song is rapidly increasing. So I just looped it, and you can see it. Sorry, I haven't looped it. I have copied it. No, I haven't. Talking rubbish. I have selected it. Right. Come on, Phil. Selected it by lassoing it, and the white lines show me that I've done that. Do you remember how I copy it? Well, I go to right-click on any of the samples and copy. And I want to copy them to bar 17. So I use my cursor or marker to bar 17. And I'm going to right-click and paste. There it is. An exact copy of this section plus this vocal. So let's go from the beginning and see how it sounds. Very quiet, because do you know why? You're right. I forgot to take the solo off yet again. So solo, I would only hear the vocal track. Now I want to hear all the tracks. Here we go.
I'm taking back what's mine. Cause I want more. Cause
Okay.
I want more.
Now, what I might do with this vocal is it doesn't sound quite right at the moment, so I'm going to copy in the Juno riff, the one at the beginning. So once again, copy, and let's paste it here. Paste. Okay, so now I've got the riff, which is the music, and let's see if it fits in a little bit better.
I'm taking back what's mine. Cause I want more.
Now that's deliberately out of key. It doesn't sound quite right, does it? And I'm just going to show you what we can do to change that. So I'm going to right click on the sample and I go down to audio stretch, which is strange because I don't need to stretch it, but I could do if I wanted to. I can speed it up. You can see there it says 10% faster or slower. But what I'm interested in is changing the pitch. And there's going up a semitone or down a semitone. And if I go down to more, I can actually do it faster than one semitone at a time. So let's go down one semitone.
I'm taking back what's mine.
Down again.
Cause I want more.
Okay. And if I like it or want to try it, I just press apply. So in the meantime, let's go back to the beginning. There it is. So let's have a quick listen.
I'm taking back what's mine. Cause I want more.
Nope, that's not working for me at all. Okay. And that's okay. The point of the exercise is to try things out. And if we like them, we leave them. If we don't, we get rid of them. So it's easy enough to get rid of it. I can just press delete on the QWERTY keyboard. That's one way. I can also undo it. Or perhaps better is to go over here, what's mine track, and go to delete track, and it's all gone. Okay, let's have a look at some of the options that we can use when making music with BandLab to change it. Even though we're using pre-recorded loops, we can make it our own. And there's many different ways we can do that. So I'd like to show you that now. Let's go up to this original beat. I'm going to solo it and play it. So I'll play it from bar 17. Okay, that's a very simple drum and bass beat. A little bit boring perhaps. So how can we make it more interesting? Well, the first thing I can do is find a place that I want to cut it up or slice it. So at bar 21, I'm going to press that menu again, the right hand button, and I'm going to go to slice. And what slice does is literally cut it in half or wherever we want. And for this, I'm going to go change the grid size a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm going to go to a quarter of a bar, maybe an eighth of a bar. And that means now I can just divide each bar up into 8. I'm going to zoom in as well so you can see a little bit more about what I do. Here's the zoom in and zoom out. There we go. So this is now moving, and I'm going to slice it into a small eighth. There. I can also press S on the QWERTY keyboard. So S, and now you can see I've got a little slice there. Let's zoom in so you can really see this. Fantastic. Now, what happens if I loop that? So it just keeps looping on the slice. Well, there's the loop button, the little circle. And now I'm just copying it 8 times. So what does that sound like? Let's have a listen from bar 19. Okay, so you get the idea because you probably recognize that the effects that people use when they do remixes. So I quite like that. And what I need to do is just join that back and see how it sounds from here. Okay, so now let's just go to the beginning of that beat. And again, drag it along. There we go. And one shave off. There it is. And I want to start with the kick drum, which is there. I'm going quite high end now. This is advanced techniques, but I thought I'd show you everything it can do. Okay, what else could we do? Let's slice it at bar 23. S for slice, there it is, 2 different pieces. And I'm going to change the pitch of this one. Right click, we'll go to audio stretch. And let's go up a semitone. That means it's going to be higher. Okay, let's make it a little bit more obvious. And so we're going to go audio stretch more. And here's the pitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will sound quite absurd or quite ridiculous, but I'd like to show it you anyway, just because you can get creative with doing some simple things like changing the pitch. Let's go from here. Okay, there it is. Let's take off the solo. Let's zoom out a little bit and have a listen to the track. Okay, what else could we do? How about reversing a section so that it plays backwards? Let's go to bar 18, press S on the QWERTY keyboard and it slices it. And now go to that menu, which is right click, and this time down the bottom, reverse region. Here we go. And you can see the actual waveform up here is going backwards. Let's solo it, S for solo, and have a listen. Let's go from here, and you'll hear the forward bit and then the backwards bit. Okay. Let's see how it sounds in context from bar 15. Okay, that's quite an interesting effect that we could use on any instrument we want. But what else does BandLab do? Well, we've got synthesizers, drum machines, and all sorts of things we can add. If I go to the top left-hand corner and add track, I can go to instruments. So here we go. And an instrument has been added. And at the moment, it's a piano. You can see a little piano icon. I'm going to click on that. There's the keyboard. Let's drag it up here. And I can play it with the mouse. You can see here it says QWERTY, QWERTY. And that's the QWERTY keyboard. So tapping on my keyboard. I can also play if I have a MIDI keyboard or any classroom keyboard can be plugged in here and that will play as well. What does it tell me about the actual notes? Well, it doesn't at the moment. It says S, D, H, J. That's the QWERTY keyboard. But if I go to pitch up here, it changes, thank goodness, to D. So perhaps that's useful. We can turn it off if we don't find it useful. And we can also go here and change it to different scales. So let's make it very dramatic. The major pentatonic scale can now be played very easily. Okay, I worked out earlier that this key that I'm playing in is, was it C sharp, to go with this actual music. find out. Let's also cycle it here. So I want to go from there. Let's have 8 bars cycled round and round. Okay, I can change the octave. I can change the sound. So I've got a grand piano at the moment. I go down here and change the piano to, well, bass, brass, guitars, special effects, strings, keys, leads. Let's have something loud and brash. An 80s square lead. Let's add some effects. Why not? We've got them down here. It says effects, bottom left-hand corner. We can go to a preset and add all sorts of interesting effects. So let's have a double delay. And here you can see filter echo, space maker. It doesn't matter. If you have no idea about what this means, just play with them. What happens now? And if I want to change that, I can make it the delay longer. If I wanted to record that, I can. Bring that down and we just go up here where it's got a little red circle and press that and it will start recording. There you can see that's been recorded. Let's have a listen. Definitely not my best playing by any means. I'm not a keyboard player at the best of times. Having said that, you can see these notes here. If I double click on this, they come up here and I can actually change them. I can edit them. So it's very sophisticated. Below the surface, we can do some really interesting things. Only a few minutes left now, so let's have a look at what else we've got. Let's go to Add Track, a drum machine. And that's a nice way to start. If you don't feel particularly confident as a drummer, it doesn't matter. Let's just play this. That's a bit fast, so I'm going to change the tempo of the whole song. It's 174 beats per minute at the moment. That's very fast. It's great for a drum and bass track, of course, but I can change the whole thing. Let's go down to 120. That's my alarm telling me I've only got a few minutes. 120 beats per minute. And that will actually stretch, if I want, the whole of the track. I don't at the moment, okay, because that will take too much time. Okay. To change this beat, we can click on any of the circles and they disappear. I've just taken out the hi-hat. Let's take out a few drums. Let's add a clap. Let's add a cymbal. Let's add some more kick drum. So you can really see how crazy this is. We can easily add lots of different interesting beats. If I go up here to drum machine, we can change the kit. Once again, a huge choice. Sinister trap, IDM, glitch, freestyle. Let's have some glitch. Okay, so the same beat is played on glitch. It sounds completely different. That's quite exciting. Let's change to, oh, I don't know, industrial kit. No, LCD kit. And as you can see, that is already part of the song. That's been put straight in here as part of my song. I do believe then we have only 1 minute left. So just to recap, BandLab for Education can be found at edu.bandlab.com. It's available for free to anybody. Teachers, parents can use it. It's very safe. It's a walled garden, so it means it's completely safe online. And you just need to explore it. If you need a little bit of extra help, then come to my website, which is learning.inclusivemusic.com, and take some of the courses. And then you can become an expert, either as a teacher and have it in school, or as a student. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to stop sharing and see if Ben is there. I think he is.
I am indeed, Phil.
I hope you heard all that. I have no idea.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Yeah, and every time I see you do a demonstration on BandLab, I'm learning something new myself. And one of the things I'll probably do as soon as we finish our Mix 2020 online, I will go and run up BandLab and try them out. So thanks, Phil, for that.
Pleasure.
Now, this is an opportunity for us to hear a little bit more about Phil. We're going to chat for a little while. But if you have any questions, please do send them via the Twitter page, or you could send them to Devon Music Education Hub as well by other means, Facebook, and even emails. They'll all find their way to us, and we'll be able to respond to your questions then. So I've been putting together some questions, Phil. One is about you, first of all. What can you remember your earliest venture into music creation?
Yes, I can. It was probably messing around with a cassette tape recorder. And what I wanted to do was try and work out how can I record something onto cassette and then overdub it with something else. And so I learned what you could do is put some sellotape over one of the heads, and this would allow you to play it and record it at the same time. And so that was 2-track recording way back in the day. But that got me excited at the possibilities. But what we're seeing today is just extraordinary. You know, the power we've got even in our phones or these incredible programs. It just means really everyone can make the most incredible music. And actually, the first music technology I ever got was this little beauty here, the Casio VL Tone. And this, in the day, this is 40 years old, by the way, was sensational. This changed my life, literally. I know you're not impressed, kids, but it did it for me. It literally changed my life. It made me realize I could record on here. I could record on these little notes and play it back. So that was absolute revelation. And my mum bought me that, God bless her. And it's got me into music technology, and I've been there ever since, loving it.
you still see those coming up at car boot sales. I would recommend anybody to buy one because quite a few DJs use them now, don't they?
They do, yeah. It's because it was one of the earliest little synths. It's a bit of a collector's piece now.
Did you ever had to learn to read music in order to do what you do now?
No, a well-kept secret. Actually, it's not so well kept now. No, I'm not ashamed of not knowing a note of music, but I did try. Way back when I was, I think, 8, I started having a piano lesson, and I enjoyed the piano. We had a piano in the house, but when the notes came up, I just didn't get it, and so I sort of lost interest because in those days, if you didn't learn the music, you weren't considered a very good pupil. So I wasn't considered a very good pupil. But I still had the music inside me. So I then tried to learn the guitar, which I would love to learn the guitar. I still haven't quite got around to it. But once the notation came out on the stave, it sort of became a phobia, really. And I thought, I can't do it. And then I tried again with the flute. My last attempt at being a proper musician was the flute, but alas, that didn't work out. I could play the flute, I could blow it, which apparently is quite difficult, but no, that didn't work out. So it was technology that saved me because I realized that I could express myself, be creative through that little Casio VL tone, and it went from there and synthesizers and gadgets, as you can see in the background here. These are the things I use now, which allow me not to worry about music theory or music notation. I can bypass it and still not only have a great fun time making music, but I've had a career in music education. I've been teaching all over the world using technology, and it's only going to get better and better and better.
Would you say then, for a lot of youngsters who are watching this now, that they can actually they can actually make a career out of using music technology and BandLab helping them on the way?
Absolutely. It's one of those things, I think my parents would have said, oh no, don't be silly, you can't have a career in music. These days you can. And I noticed only the other day, BandLab, you can now create an album and you can sell it online and you get 100% of the royalties. They're not giving it away. So it's getting better and better. That's one thing, you can sell your music, but I've been teaching, I've been training, I've been doing courses, and this is all ways of earning a living in the digital age. And I would absolutely encourage every student, every child, every person who loves music to have that faith and belief that using the tools that are available to us for free, we can create the most incredible music, and we can become experts. It might be experts in one particular field. It could be, that machine here, that's called a machine of 3. You could become an expert in that and do training courses, or become someone who works with BandLab, or whatever it is. Follow your passion, follow your love, whatever you love doing. I believe, especially in these times, you can make a career out of it.
If my experience is that when you're creating music electronically with music tech, it can be quite a lonely experience. And yet we all know that music is very much a social activity, something where you make friends, you interact with friends. What options do you have when you are a music creator to do that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Again, it's changed, and BandLab is one of those companies that have adapted this idea of music, even though you're doing music technology, should be a shared collaborative process. So even in the online BandLab for Education, teachers can now get their students in the classroom working together on a track or a song. And it gets more exciting than that, because if you have 2 classrooms, let's say one in Devon and one in Brazil, you could connect, 2 teachers connect each class, And then 2 schools from across the planet can start working together on a piece of music. And they've even introduced a live session now, which means you can see the person in Brazil, let's say the child in Brazil, playing, let's say, a piece of percussion. That gets recorded in, and the child in Devon can then go, wow, look at that. That's just been recorded into my classroom area where I'm working. And then I can edit it, change the pitch, mess around with it, add effects, add my voice, all sorts of things. So yeah, it's changing.
So I've got 2 more questions. The first one is on this theme. So if you're a teacher that's trying to do that link up, as a teacher, do you need to be an expert in music creation with music tech yourself?
No. And it's one of the things I think that teachers are a little bit apprehensive about, maybe especially primary school teachers, in the sense that they're not perhaps music trained. They teach the whole curriculum, but BandLab is supportive of all teachers, and it gives you the tools to learn at your own pace. But actually, we know who the experts are, don't we, Ben? In the classroom.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's the kids. And of course, I'm not afraid to let them explore the platform and report back to me. And I'm always amazed, even, after 30 years of teaching music tech, there's kids who show me something that I didn't know. But it's important that I want to help teachers, because I think this is such an incredible tool. I think it will transform their music teaching, and it will transform the musical experience of kids in school to make music, an incredibly popular subject again, because it allows everyone to access it. So that's why I've done my courses. BandLab For Schools, for example, is the course that takes teachers and students through the process that you've seen me start today of writing a structured song, and filling all the boxes of the curriculum, doing pitch and all the stuff that is required, let's say, is all in there. So teachers don't have to be the experts by any means.
If in doubt, ask a child.
Yes.
Finally, I'm sure a lot of youngsters are watching this and they'll be saying, can I get this on my iPad or on my tablet or my phone?
You can't get the education version. It can only be found on your desktop. So if you've got a Mac, you can get it. And if you've got a PC or a Chromebook, you can get it. And it only works for the Chrome browser. So that's an important thing. So some people use Bing, Microsoft. You'll be surprised for some reason that it won't work in that. So just make sure you're on the Chrome browser, and it'll be simple. But again, if you need help getting set up on BandLab for Education, do get in touch with me. You could email me at phil@inclusivemusic.com, or you can go through Ben or the Devon Music Education Hub, and I'll direct you to the videos, step by step, how you do that. And all my training is video tutorials. So that's the way I learn. And I think that's the way, most people go on YouTube these days to learn a lot of stuff that they want to know about.
So you've got a very old creaking PC laptop or PC desktop. It'll still work fine because everything gets stored up in the cloud, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah, you just want a reasonably good internet connection, and clear everything off that you've loaded up already in terms of, if you've got 100 browsers tabs open, clear them off. Just have BandLab, go online, and you're away. And I hope that people who've come to it new today will actually have a go. So I'll put I'll do it now. I'll put it in the chat, edu.bandlab.com. There it is. And that means you just drag that into your browser and you could be up and running in minutes. And I hope you are.
Thank you very much, Phil. That was most enjoyable, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. And you. Bye now.
Bye then. Right. Now it's me to introduce